guys, today I wanted to do a video about some health and first aid things at Disney World. I know I have had several clients that were concerned about a specific health condition of one of their children and wondering if Disney would be able to accommodate them, if it's possible to do something like that. Absolutely. I have never seen a client that had an issue that Disney could not handle. There might be something, but I've never come across them. So yeah, I think they are the best place to go if you want to go on a vacation with a child who has some kind of medical condition that can be very difficult to travel with. Disney is the place to go. So I have my list down here, so let's get started. The first thing is that the first aid stations in the parks they have a fridge that can hold medication for guests. So don't feel like you have to lug around a cooler with, your medication in an ice pack or anything like that. You can bring it to the first aid station and then they can put it in their fridge for you. Next, the food and dietary accommodations. They're amazing with this. They're amazing with, I say food and dietary separate because in terms of food, a lot of people have food allergies and have a very difficult time eating at restaurants at home. Disney, they are fantastic about that. I do recommend you call ahead of time, and you should call the special diets and dietary needs is what it's called. And you can talk to them and tell them, okay, here's my reservation number, and here is the date, time, when we're eating, and this is the concern I have, and you let them know ahead of time. And then you remind them when you're checking in. And a lot of times the chef will come out and go through the menu with you or the buffet and point out what you can and can't eat. And they'll offer, okay, I can make this for you. I'll just make it, differently to suit your needs. So for example, I've heard of, I just actually just read it on allears.net that somebody was eating at, I think it was Cape May Cafe, and they're allergic to shellfish. And on the buffet, the chef told them, do not eat the corn and potatoes because they are made in the same broth with shellfish. So that's not something that you ever would have thought of, but they will go through and show you those things, and then they'll say, hey, I can make this for you completely separately from shellfish. It'll just take 15 or 20 minutes, and if that's what you're interested in. So they are wonderful in that regard. Now, in terms of dietary, I had a client who was concerned that their child could only eat pureed food. Again, call ahead of time and see. I can't imagine a restaurant that would not be able to accommodate that, but you never know. But I recommend, like I said, calling ahead of time and seeing, hey, is this possible for you guys to just blend this stuff up for my child? Is there something that they can eat there? And then they can still have the same experience and a lot, characters, and they can see the environment because the restaurants are just so cool there. They're just amazing. So definitely call ahead. And I would just, it'd probably just be easiest just to Google the number for special diets and dietary needs cast members at Disney World and go from there. Another thing that a lot of people don't know you can do is to rest in the first aid station. I really recommend taking advantage of the first aid station. I have gotten Band-Aids from them and Tylenol from them before, and they're wonderful. You just, sign in, you just put your name. So they just have to have a record of who comes and the time that they come and what they're getting, why they're there. And then they give you what you need and you're on your way. But if you are somebody who has a medical condition where you need a little bit of time to rest in a quiet, air-conditioned place, for example, people who are going through cancer treatments, get very, very run down, you can go to the first aid station and they will bring you back to a quiet room where you can rest and relax for a while your family goes on a couple of other rides, and then you can meet up with them later, which I think is absolutely wonderful, and it really gives you the opportunity to still go on a trip with your family and get the care that you need, and then go back to having fun with them again. Another tip that I would recommend is if you have a handicap tag that you hang on your rear view mirror from your car at home, bring that with you if you will be renting a car in Florida, or if you drive even, make sure you have that with you because the parking lots are very, very big, and then you can make sure that you're parking closer to the front entrance of the theme park. In terms of wheelchairs, if you are going to be having your own wheelchair, whether you bring it from home or whether you rent it from an outside company, which is an option, if you are using the Disney transportation, If at all possible, I would recommend transferring from your wheelchair, letting the bus driver load the wheelchair on the bus, and then you getting on. That saves a lot of time for you and everybody else on the bus, because I think the bus drivers are probably more adept at backing the wheelchair into its place, and they don't have to be strapped in as much, I don't think, if I recall, when a guest is not in it than when a guest is in it. So it saves a lot of time. So, I mean, this isn't always possible, but if possible, if the bus driver, usually they'll ask, but if they don't ask, just say, hey, I can transfer out of this, and then they'll load the wheelchair for you, and then you can, climb up the steps of the bus. There's, like I said, if you can, there's, a couple of steps there. And then, or they might even let you walk up the ramp if you need to, and then sit down that way. And it saves a lot of load and unload time for you and the other guests riding the bus. Now, like I said, you can rent a wheelchair or an electric scooter from an outside company. So if you rent a wheelchair from Disney, you cannot leave the parks with it. However, if you keep your receipt, your stub, you can show that at the next park on the same day and collect a wheelchair there. That being said, you are not guaranteed if you have an electric wheelchair at Epcot in the morning and then you want to go to, say, Animal Kingdom in the evening, you're not necessarily guaranteed to have an electric wheelchair there. So if that's the kind of thing that is super, super important to you, you can rent it from an outside company, and they will drop it off at your hotel for you and pick it up at the end of your trip, and then you can have it with you at your hotel as well. If you are a guest with severe allergies or asthma, you can request a VIP room clean, and they do just a more thorough job, I guess you could say, of cleaning the room and linens and the bed and everything like that to make sure that there is no dust. And you can also request fragrance-free products as well. You can also request special detergent for the sheets and towels in your rooms. There are some people who have extremely sensitive skin where certain types of detergent really, really irritates them and can even cause them to break out in hives. You can request that kind of thing ahead of time and have that be all ready to go when you get there, so that you don't have to worry about having hives on your trip and being all itchy. Now, in regard to having a scooter or wheelchair, something you want to remember is that it rains in Disney World a lot. If you can bring some sort of cover to keep it dry, I think it will really make a big difference in not having a wet butt for the rest of the day. I've seen people use shower curtains, and then they bring clips to the shower curtain liner, and then they bring clips to clip it to the bottom part of the wheelchair or scooter. Some people have used grill or barbecue covers to keep it dry. There are different options. Just make sure you have a way to secure it so it doesn't just blow away. Lastly, if you are somebody who needs to give themselves injections, when you check in, you can ask the cast member for a sharps container. And I'm told, I've never had to try this, but I'm told that they will bring you one. And likewise, when I was talking about the first aid station, if you don't want to give yourself an injection out in the open in public, you can go to the first aid station and just say, hey, can I give myself an injection? And then they will bring you to a private room in the back where it's all clean, sanitary, everything, and private. And then you can give yourself your injection and then go on with your day. So I think these are things that might not sound like a big deal to a lot of people, or might not even occur to a lot of us, but for people who have special health needs and concerns, this can make a huge, huge difference in the quality of trip that they have. So I hope you found this helpful, and thanks for watching, guys. Bye.